Well, I sure did have a crazy time in Houston in the summer of 1965. I was to graduate in January of 1966 in engineering school. At that time, I didn't even really know what I was going to do with my life, but I thought going and taking a job with Exxon in Houston would be a great summer job, and I would see what it's like to work for a big company. And it sounded like a really fascinating engineering job. I was going to help a professor at the college or at the University of Houston work on oil gas separators. They had a way to improve the pumping efficiency of oil wells that were pumping oil out of the ground. If there was a lot of gas in the oil, the pumps didn't pump very efficiently, and so they were trying to make that more efficient. And so that was the job I had. And also while I was down there, I figured I would, room with my very good friend Jim Womble, who had a different job with what then was Humble Oil. So we were both working at Humble Oil in different locations, and he was working in an office, and I was actually working outside at the University of Houston. So really some fun stuff. Of course, right in the middle of my second week in this job, I was looking in the newspaper and I saw a Jaguar XKE that had been wrecked for sale in a junkyard at a fraction of what a new one cost. It only had about 5,000 miles on it. And so I immediately went out and looked at that car in the junkyard and said, I have to have it. And I scraped together enough money to buy it. So now I own a wrecked car. I got a job, that I'm working at the University of Houston on. So I said, I got to get this car so I can drive it home. I've got a car that is literally undrivable, and I manage working at nights to make that car not only drivable, but I put new parts on it. And I had what looked like, by the end of the summer, a pretty brand new Jaguar XKE for like a fraction of what a new one. So, here I'm going back to the University of Arkansas in my new XKE, which, was like, oh my God, that's, I think died and gone to heaven. But in the middle of all that, I'm still working at the University of Houston on oil gas separators. And we made some interesting progress, and I, quote unquote, invented a new oil gas separator. It's a centrifugal oil gas separator that nobody had ever built before. And when I was doing research for the book, I said, I wonder whatever happened to my oil gas separator, if anything, everybody ever used it or anything. So of course, now we have a way to figure that out. We just Google it, and I Googled centrifugal oil gas separator, downwell oil gas separator, and literally the first image that popped up was an image which looked exactly like the thing I invented. I went, what? So apparently I did invent something. There's a much longer story about how the Humble Oil executives got me to sign away all my rights, which I was very willing to do for that. But until I started working on this book, I had no idea that my centrifugal oil gas separator became what they call the standard of the industry. Go figure.